What's the dirt just got real weird about Kendrick versus Drake.
Because of the angles that Kendrick took in the battle and the position that he took in the battle, he drove like a firm wedge in hip-hop where he caused a lot of hate and division. His legacy will forever be tied to that. Years down the road, when people are looking back, Kendrick will be identified as the dude that ushered in the most divisive and hateful time in the history of the genre. He put a massive battery in the backs of people who were already miserable in life, empowering them to say things like, he's not like us, she's not part of this, get him out of here, they're not from it, he's not from it, they not from it. And all you gotta do is look at the history books. Any moment throughout mankind that caused division has never been a good thing. And it was very disingenuous because he did it at a time where America was already divided. So selfishly, he took this angle, knowing that people would bite onto it, knowing that people would resonate with it. And that's why a lot of people felt so personally attached to the battle, because it became identity politics. Like, people literally stopped calling me culture vulture, and the new insult for me was Canadian. You're Canadian. That became an insult. And in the 2 years I've been on YouTube, I had never been insulted with the fact that I was Canadian. It's basically the miserable, bitter hater era. Like, you had guys like this, Glasses Malone, who was just like already miserable, already a hater. Kendrick put a battery in the back of dudes like this to hate even more. I don't see how people don't see it. What the battle did was empower a lot of guys like this who just felt like they were overlooked and were bitter about it. But another thing you could look at throughout history is that love always conquers hate. And that's what you're seeing with Iceman. The world is starting to restore to what it should have been. And mark my words, in 15, 20 years from now, people will look back at this and look at the way that he approached the battle, and it'll be clear as day. Clear as day what he did. And they'll look at dudes like this. Actually, no, they actually won't look at dudes like this. What am I saying?
Salute to my guy Hip Hop Clips 36 for posting this and making me aware of this what's the dirt situation, because we got to talk about this. I am currently blocked by what's the dirt, and rightfully so, because I do not let what's the dirt say and get away with a lot of nonsense that he tries to pull. But this time, gang, this one is special because this one is dangerous, and I want to speak on this one because it's all fun and games at first. When you realize what he's trying to actually do, it ain't fun and it ain't games. And where we're going to start is with what's the dirt and why he's doing what he's doing. Now, I'm going to play the video clip in the beginning, and I'm going to go at the end and play it again and break it down line for line. I'm going to need some time to cook them, gang. I'm going to need you to bear with me. If you got to go, you got to go. But if you're going to stick around, get you a snack, like I always say. Get you something that you can hang on to that'll get you through this long video. But I'm going to be here for a while because what's the dirt is a hypocrite. And why I say that is what's the dirt started on YouTube as a commentary guy who broke down lyrics, and he broke down different artists, and he was very fair. He has a video where he pretty much calls out Drake for a lot of the things that Drake was accused of doing. He went and got evidence that a lot of people didn't have the wherewithal to put together on Drake, and he pretty much outlined the you like him young narrative. That was what's the dirt, and he has over 300,000 subscribers for that reason. He doesn't have all those subscribers because of what he's doing now, which is pandering and catering hand over foot to Drake, right? End of the day, he has become a shell of what he used to be, and his entire goal now is to uplift Drake and bash Kendrick. And in that video, that rhetoric gets a little scary, gang. It gets to the point he's damn near trying to call a Nazi. He's almost calling him Hitler, gang. He's talking about divisiveness and things of that nature. And by the time he's done spinning this narrative onto Kendrick will absolutely look like a damn near a terrorist, gang. This is what they do on that side, but we gonna be here. I'm gonna be here. I'm not gonna let this happen, gang. What happens is, when you get to that other side who like to rewrite history and change the culture and change the narrative, even though they have absolutely nothing to do with it, Oh yeah, it gets spooky. And if you let them tell it, gang, up will be down, down will be up, and side to side will be back and forth, gang. And what he's trying to literally do is make Drake a victim. If you listen to this sad sack, this soft that has almost needs trumpets and some type of flutes or something to put behind him to make this even sadder, maybe a sad guitar or a piano. But by the time you let him finish this diatribe, somehow Kendrick is the most evil rapper that ever lived, and he consciously made a concerted effort to make Drake into some type of heinous individual and get everyone who's already miserable and divided, because America's so divided that somehow, some way Kendrick used that and tried to destroy this man and destroy hip-hop overall, gang. We're not going to let you do it, Matthew. We're not going to let you do it. Like I said, I am blocked by Matthew, by the way. So I saw Hip Hop Clips repost this, Hip Hop Clips 36, and people were in his comments saying, because he said that it was deleted, somebody was like, it's not deleted. I was like, oh yeah, good. So now I can go watch it. I go and watch it. Gang, it's infuriating. It's infuriating to hear him say this. And I'm just going to say on the side, I would love to hear my Drake counterparts, my pro Drake pages who've been so obsessed with commenting on my videos. I would love to see them come with their take about this what's the dirt thing where Drake is this victim, gang. But I'm not going to digress. I want to stay focused. So what I want to say about this situation with what's the dirt, we got to understand where it starts. What's the dirt is Canadian. What's the dirt is a white Canadian, okay? And what's the dirt has absolutely no bearing on hip-hop culture. What's the dirt is a person on the outside looking in, trying to now tell us that Kendrick Lamar is the worst thing and he quote-unquote effed up hip-hop, right? So let's talk about it. What's the dirt is currently a partner with Happy Dad. So what's the dirt is going to tell us about love and this, that, and the third. But he's partnered with a company called Happy Dad, okay, which is a right-wing company. And he's in his video decided to tell us that this is the most divisive time in the history of America, right? He's from Canada. How would he know? But apparently he does. So let's talk about why it's divisive. It is a conservative versus liberal situation in America. It's been like that for a very long time. It's at the highest it's ever been. And when companies that come out that are actively pushing that divisiveness, it's no way you can partner with that company and then say that we're doing worse and they're doing better. And somehow, some way, Kendrick Lamar is part of the problem. What's the dirt actually is sponsored by this. I want to bring this up because I thought that this was interesting, that he's going to give us a lecture on America when he joined with one of the companies that is part of the problem. Let's talk about this. First things first, before we get to any further thing about Kendrick and Drake, we have to understand Matthew. Okay, and the grift that Matthew has been putting on for a while. Matthew, I was like, what is Happy Dad? I saw it on his page. He's a partner with Happy Dad. So what is Happy Dad? Happy Dad is a popular brand of hard seltzer, hard lemonade, and hard iced tea founded in 2021 by the Nelk Boys, okay? They're the creators of Full Send Entertainment brand and the CEO, Sam Shahidi, right? I don't know these guys from a hole in the wall. I don't know Happy Dad, but I do know that Happy Dad is currently sponsoring Matthew, who is telling us that K-Dot is damn near a terrorist and he's going around about to destroy hip-hop and everything else. And in 15 years, the world is going to look at him as damn near, what's the guy from Iron Man 3? Okay, that guy who was trying to destroy the whole world, including Iron Man, okay? So this is what we're going to do. We're going to find out who's behind Matthew and who's helping them push this and why, okay? So the brand was created to offer an alternative to highly carbonated, strange-tasting seltzers that come in traditional skinny cans, right? The drinks are gluten-free. They contain electrolytes, have 1 gram of sugar, generally 100 calories per can. Gang, this is awesome. Sounds like a great drink, okay? They got a nice look, skinny cans, and their wider can is designed to feel like a standard beer, okay? The flavors are watermelon, wild cherry, pineapple. Good shit. Stuff that we like, stuff that we would love to taste, okay? It's widely available in liquor stores, supermarkets, and bars across the United States and Canada. Okay, so that's Happy Dad. So you're like, what's wrong with that? It can't be nothing wrong with that. It sounds good, sounds yummy, right? Looks like beer. Can't be nothing wrong with that, right? So I go a little further. I'm like, well, what's the controversy with Happy Dad? Okay? It stems primarily from its founder's reputation. its aggressive political ties, and its accidental involvement in culture war marketing. So these are the people backing What's the Dirt. But What's the Dirt is going to lecture us Americans on divisiveness, okay? He's going to tell us Kendrick Lamar has ushered in one of the most divisive times in hip-hop and in the world, right? Let's talk about it. So the brand, the Nelk Boys reputation. The brand was founded by the Nelk Boys, a group of YouTube creators known for their edgy, aggressive, and sometimes legally problematic prank videos. Critics frequently accuse the collective of promoting a toxic frat boy culture, objectifying women and pushing boundary pushing pranks that disrupt public spaces. Okay, this is the Nelk brothers, or the Nelk Boys. Okay, let me finish. Because their core fan base historically consisted of teenagers and very young adults, critics have expressed concerns over the group heavily marketing an alcohol brand to an audience that might include underage viewers, okay? So, end of the day, right? It's a hard seltzer, lemonade, and iced tea, but they're pushing this stuff to young kids, right? This basically what it sounds like to me. I can't say for sure. I'm just going by what I'm reading, okay? Let me continue. High-profile political ties. Unlike traditional alcohol brands that attempt to stay politically neutral, Happy Dad has leaned heavily into right-wing political spaces. The campaign surrogacy. The founders have used their media footprint, including their Full Send podcast, to champion conservative figures. They openly campaigned for and distributed Happy Dad at political rallies, turning the beverage into an unofficial staple of Gen Z conservative culture. Gang, this is right wing. Listen to me, what I'm telling you. These guys are about that life. Let me continue. Reports and social media discussions indicating that figures like Donald Trump Jr. are involved as investors or part owners have also sparked targeted boycotts from consumers looking to avoid politically charged products. So it looks like Donald Trump Jr. is involved with Happy Dad. But What's the Dirt is going to lecture us about how bad it got in America because of Kendrick Lamar during that time. But let me continue. The Bud Light culture war overlap. Happy Dad became the center of a national media contradiction during the high-profile 2023 Bud Light boycott, when conservative commentators and musicians, notably Kid Rock, I got a video on this channel that Kid Rock was the worst mistake that hip-hop, he's our fault. We let him loose on you guys, and now he's able to run amok because we kind of called him hip-hop in the beginning. Our bad, okay? We called him hip-hop. That's on us. Let's continue. They boycotted Bud Light over a partnership with transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney. Many shifted their promotion to Happy Dad, okay? This is what it is. This is what's going on. However, this quickly sparked online chaos when internet users pointed out that Happy Dad had previously paid and partnered with transgender media personality Caitlyn Jenner for promotional content. This created a heavily publicized irony that dragged the independent seltzer brand straight into mainstream social and political debates. Now, we just heard in that clip that that What's the Dirt is talking about social political politics, right? We just heard him say that. And he's in bed with a company that is full on in the middle of all of that nonsense. They even got a little bit of contradiction going on over there at Happy Dad, but I don't know what's going on at Happy Dad, so I'm not going to pretend to. But what I did was I said, well, what's his association with Happy Dad? What's the dirt? Matthew, okay? The channel's creator, Matt, has an official business partnership with the brand. Rather than being a source of drama or conflict, the connection is a standard commercial relationship. He gets paid to do it, okay? Nature of the association. What's the Dirt lists Happy Dad Seltzers as an official partner and sponsor. The brand is integrated into the channel's ecosystem. Matt lists Happy Dad directly in his official YouTube channel About page and links to the co-branded merchandise opportunity. Okay, so basically, the Nelk Boys, What's the Dirt, they're in bed together, but What's the Dirt decided to make a video on how Kendrick is destroying hip-hop and in essence the world. By the time he's done with this diatribe, Kendrick is going to be freaking public enemy number one. And he's talking about in 15 years. What he's saying is in 10 to 15 years, he's going to push the narrative to make it like this battle was the worst thing ever. And Kendrick spearheaded it and caused the entire collapse of the free world, okay? And Drake is once again the victim. You got to understand where all of this is going. He literally says that Iceman is love. Gang, I can't make this stuff up. It's actually weird. I did not oversell it, okay? Now, we're going to discuss what What's the Dirt is talking about, but let's just rewind and figure out how we got here with What's the Dirt. What's the Dirt was very popular on YouTube until he decided to get into that battle and try to put his own spin on it. He was doing a good job until he tried to count all the N-words that Drake said because he thought he was going to be able to. Somehow he decided to defend Drake because he's from Canada. And he counted all the N-words that Drake said in one of his songs. I believe it may have been the Family Matters record or one of the records he was responding to Kendrick, right? And he counted at 37, and he said Drake said the N-word 37 times because he's 37 years old. Okay, that right there sparked a backlash, rightfully so. And What's the Dirt was completely bombarded with a lot of upset people, black and white and the other, right? And they were like, how dare you? You're a white guy from Canada. We don't need you to be counting the N-words and then trying to explain them away and tell us what Drake meant when he said them, okay? That sent What's the Dirt into a frenzy because he's very plugged in with the comment section. He gets highly offended. He's responded in several videos. He's had back and forths with the company man and other people, including myself and others, because he's very engaged. He's more engaged in the comments than what he actually puts in the content, okay? So it bothered him when so many people were upset at his comments about Drake is able to say it because he's half black, half white, and he said it because he's 37 years old, and he proved people that he could say it, and he said it 37 times. So What's the Dirt actually shut down his page for a while. What's the Dirt was so upset with what people were saying, he got away from YouTube and Twitter and was like, I'm all set for a while, right? But then what happens is that's an actual job. This YouTube thing is an actual job. And What's the Dirt realized I got a lot of money on the line if I just stay back, if I jump back in. But this time he did it in a smart way for what he wanted to be as a person. He said, I'm not going to be neutral. I'm not going to be balanced and fair. Everybody over there on Kendrick's side actually hates me right now, and they're calling me a culture vulture. I'm going to go over this side where it's a little more safe and more comfortable. And if I schmooze these guys long enough, they'll gravitate to me. So he decided to be full on Drake. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. No cut cards, no middle ground. It was full on Drake from the time he got back online, and he started to do all these Drake videos. But what he forgot was when he was fair and balanced, he did a couple videos on Drake that weren't so nice. Okay, they weren't nice at all. And people remembered that. And they were like, bro, oh, wait, so you're full on OVO now? Well, didn't you make the video about the girls at the party who were drinking wine coolers? Didn't you have some very serious questions? And he hid that video for a while because he got so good at being a Drake conservative or whatever he was trying to be. They started to contact him and started to plug him in. They started to be very, very schmoozy with What's the Dirt. And What's the Dirt didn't want to offend OVO no more. So he tried to hide that video. But people had already screenshotted and started posting it on Twitter saying, this you, right? So end of the day, What's the Dirt had to unhide that video. I believe he unhid it. I'm not sure. It could be there, it could be not. I don't know. But end of the day, What's the Dirt tried to hide his past, which was being fair and balanced. And he was so fair and balanced, he went and did a whole expose on Drake. And that expose did very, very well. It's one of his biggest videos on his channel, right? But at this point, when you're trying to be an OVO conservative, right? I guess we're going to make up something right now. When you're trying to be that, you can't have a video like that out there. You got to do a ton more that's going to make him look good. So he became compromised. He became so compromised that when Drake started his Iceman rollout, they started to contact him and started to feed him stuff. And they fed him so much stuff that by the time episode 3 dropped, What's the Dirt was an insider making flyers for episode 3 and telling people to tune in because Drake was going to drop something that night. Well, they thought it was going to be the album. He even thought it was going to be a Kendrick diss. He was speculating about what it was, but he knew firsthand because they told him something was dropping at the end of episode 3. When it dropped, when the episode 3 finished, nothing dropped. This guy went full on in a rant. There's still recordings of him going nuts because he was lied to by Drake's team. He found out that night that Drake and them be lying. He found it out the hard way. He said he would never ever use any information from them again. You'll never hear me, quote unquote, you'll never hear me saying anything about Drake is dropping anything. They're not going to get me twice. He was full on mad. Now, I don't know what they did to schmooze him over because a day or two later, he was right back on board. He must have got one of them Zoom calls or one of them private Twitter Square Spaces, and they really did a number on him because he came back, guns blazing. He was all Drake all over again, right? Even though they burnt him publicly in the community, the Drake community was dragging his ass for 5 days straight because he lied, according to them. Even though he made it clear, I did not lie to you guys. I got this straight from OVO. They dragged his ass anyway, and it hurt, and his stomach was hurting for a couple of days, but he got over it. Okay, now we're seeing full on Dirt back in black. He's ready to go, guns blazing. Right around that time, I started to criticize him on Twitter. We went back and forth. I did a video about it because he tried to tell us that if we so consumed, first of all, they try to bring down the culture. I tell you this all the time. They try to bring down the culture, the word and the name itself, because if there's no culture, there's no governing party that can get in the way of this Drake comeback. He hadn't come back yet. He hadn't dropped Iceman. They were still really worried. So they needed to do a concerted effort on this word culture. So What's the Dirt started to launch into these videos, talking about what is the culture anyway, this, that, and the third. People like myself started to respond. I did a response video, which he watched, did not like it. Because, gang, sometimes I can be a little mean. Gang, I was very mean to What's the Dirt. What's the Dirt did not like it. What's the Dirt did a response video, and he was very upset. And he didn't say my name, but he was like, you guys act holier than thou, because I'm about this culture, and in no uncertain terms do I play with it. So I'm going to say a few things that's going to seem a little, judgmental. So he didn't like it. He's like, you guys act holier than thou, but what are you doing for the underground that you love so much? You're not posting underground music. You're not talking about underground acts. You're supposed to be the culture. And I said, you don't know what the hell we doing over here. I post this shit all the time on my Twitter. I post about underground rappers all the time. But at the end of the day, just like you, Twitter's a job, and we do our job well because we do it to get paid. A lot of people have pages out there for underground artists, this, that, and the third. That's not my page here. I comment on things that move the culture in one way or the other. And I comment on things that I want to. I'm not going to pander and try to make you feel a certain kind of way about me, but I do support and post a lot of up-and-coming underground artists. Okay, that's not what this page is for. I had a review page that nobody was watching. I was reviewing underground artists albums all the time. I have 2 pages reviewing underground shit, this, that, and the third, that we still got. Okay, but ain't nobody running over there in droves to see the shit. Okay, so end of the day, it's a small thing. People want to see it, they can go see it. If they don't, they don't. But you're not going to say we're not about the culture because we're giving your boy a hard time, okay? So at that point, when he made them comeback videos, he realized that it didn't affect me, didn't hurt me in the slightest. All it did was make me laugh and come back with more videos. He decided to block me. So at that point, I realized this guy's done. I don't have to worry about what he's going to say anymore or try to combat his nonsense, because What's the Dirt really is way too fragile to dance with me in this arena, okay? But he still wants to dance. He wants to block a lot, just like DJ Academics TV blocked me too. They want to dance, and they don't want nobody to combat them or what they're going to do, right? So what he's doing now is he's blocking everybody out of the way so he can have his moment with his crowd. And what he's doing with his crowd is peddling nonsense, right? The nonsense here with this actual, I don't know, rant, what we want to call it, it is misinformation. It is 100% to deceive and to build Drake up, to tear Kendrick down. He says it with a dead-ass straight face, gang. And I understand he's Canadian, but this ain't even about being a good, wholesome Canadian. Canadians are very nice people, right? They're very nice people, and they're very anti-confrontational, this, that, and the third. This is not that. This is Matthew being 100% facetious. He is being 100%, he's trying to misguide people and mislead people and to turn Kendrick into some kind of monster. I'm going to play this clip, and I'm going to be reacting to it in real time, because there's going to be some pushback. And when I tell you this shit gets weird, it gets real weird, up until the point you almost thinking Drake is Jesus Christ coming back with love, gang. I can't even make this stuff up, but I'm going to play it, and we're going to have this conversation.
Because of the angles that Kendrick took in the battle and the position that he took in the battle, he drove like a firm wedge in hip-hop where he caused a lot of hate and division.
Let me stop right there. Kendrick caused hate and division. This is the guy. He's trying to tell us that K-Dot caused hate and division as if Drake had nothing to do with it. Kendrick came out of nowhere for no reason. These guys have been subbing each other for years. Drake has been saying some crazy stuff to this man and vice versa. And Drake has an issue with his cousin, Baby Keem. They've been going at it for years. And as a matter of fact, allegedly, Drake tried to get at Baby Keem's ex or current girl at the time because he was trying to get at Dot. This guy does a lot of shit behind the scenes, but Matthew will never tell you that. He's going to tell you at the end of this 2-minute rant that Drake brings love, and that's what Iceman is doing, restoring love. He's not going to tell you about all the snake stuff that Drake does in the background. Right? He's not going to tell you that because that's not his agenda. His agenda is to rewrite the narrative and make Kendrick seem like some type of animal. Okay, but let me continue.
His legacy will forever be tied to that. Years down the road, when people are looking back, Kendrick will be identified as the dude that ushered in the most divisive and hateful time in the history of the genre.
All right. What's the dirt is going to tell us about the genre? In 2026, what's the dirt? The white Canadian guy from Canada who switched up on his videos because he really never really felt them and meant what he was saying in the first place. So he switched up and did whatever was going to bring in the money. He's a Drake commentator and a Kendrick hater, for lack of a better word. But he's going to tell us about the most divisive time in hip hop culture. He's going to tell us that Kendrick ushered it in, right? With one battle, with really a couple songs. In one crazy May, right? It was crazy May, 2024, 2 years ago. Now Kendrick ushered in. Drake didn't do anything, gang. I need you to realize that you got to stay with Matthew, because when Matthew finishes the story, Drake is gonna pop up like Homelander and be the new Jesus Christ. Okay, this is where we're going. We're going to push Jesus out, put Drake in. This is where this guy's going with this Homelander narrative. Okay, let me continue.
He put a massive battery in the backs of people who were already miserable in life, empowering them to say things like, he's not like us, she's not part of this, get him out of here.
Well, you're not like us, and you're not part of this. This is what hip hop is. You're literally not part of this. You're literally not part of this. He didn't put no battery in people's back. We're hip hop heads, gang. You can't imitate this. You can't be like what we are over here. This is black culture. You're trying to, I don't know what you're trying to make this into, but it's always been this and it never would be nothing else. Okay? The simple fact of the matter is we have a certain culture. We're not changing it for you. We're not going to make you comfortable. We're not going to switch up the rules for Drake and let him go call his lawyers and do lawsuits and this, that, and the third because his feelings is hurt. We're not doing that. No, you're not like us. Nobody needed to be told that. We can look right at you. We can listen to what you're saying. We can listen to how you're talking. I'm not saying anything wrong with how you're talking, but you're not like us. And you want us to have this big kumbaya and just include you. When you're saying nonsense like this, he put the battery in his back and everybody that likes him is miserable. So we got to be miserable because we're not jacking the nonsense that Drake is putting out. We're not jacking the nonsense that he's saying and doing. We're not looking at him as the victim that you want us to believe he is, when he clearly is not a victim by no stretch of the imagination. He's just as dirty as Dot. I don't know if you don't know that. He said a lot of dirty shit to Dot, just like Dot said to him. I don't understand where the victim shit is at. I never got it, and I still don't. How he's a victim when he said this man's beating his wife. He said his baby ain't his. He said a lot of things. He talked about his height and everything else. And he tried to get information on him from his record label. He tried to get his contract and everything. He tried to bury this man. I'm trying to figure out where this saint is at. They both said a bunch of heinous things. Just one landed worse than the other. And one got more dirt on him than the other, which you know because you are an investigator and you put all of Drake's dirt all in a nice little video and you put a bow on it. But somehow, some way now, Drake is Jesus and Kendrick is the devil. He's so hateful and spiteful that he put all these people, a battery in all these people's back. Let me continue.
Here, they're not from it, he's not from it, they not from it. And all you got to do is look at the history books. Any moment throughout mankind that caused division has never been a good thing.
All right, let me stay right there. Guys, you got to understand what he's trying to insinuate right there. Look in the history books, and any moment that caused division has never been good for mankind. Now, not like us. Everything that euphoria, all of that stuff that's hip-hop history is now a detriment to mankind. Right now, Kendrick is destroying mankind. He's damn near Hitler, gang. You got to understand what he's trying to say. This rhetoric is weird and it's strange. And it's hyper, it's absolutely trumped up to try to make you look at Dot, and some of these people will, to make him look at some sort of demon who calculated this to try to set all kind of things in motion where we're at some form of war when he's done. And when this, as they go on, we're seeing a lot of people that are, let's just be honest, they're getting a lot of money to say a lot of stuff. What's the Dirt is getting paid heavily to say this kind of shit. He's demonizing a black man. Let's put it on the table. These two are two rappers that are supposedly two black men that had a rap beef. Now, one of them is so demonic because of what he said. It was so hateful and this, that, and the third. And the other one is what? Tell us what Drake is in this scenario. Because it sounds like Kendrick is some type of wild-ass savage beast going out here calculating the destruction of the earth. And the other one just sat over there and defended himself. And he's bringing back love? How much love is on Iceman, my G? He's dissing on air. He's dissing 5, 6, 7 different people. But it's love. He's restoring the love. Let me finish, gang.
And it was very disingenuous because he did it at a time where America was already divided. So selfishly, he...
America has always been divided from the beginning of the inception of the country. We've been divided. It's been racist. It's been fascist. It's been bigoted. It's been all of that. And somehow we still are here, okay? And hip-hop is here. And you're speaking on two things you have no clue about. You're learning shit from Google about what's going on here. And you're trying to tie your sensibilities into American hip-hop, and they don't match up. And you're really being disingenuous by trying to act like you do understand it, because you don't. It was a rap battle. Two dudes rapped against each other. They said bad things about each other. It is what it is. Most people get that. You're trying to blow this thing up and trying to turn this geopolitical and all other kind of shit. But we already see where your money comes from, so we know why you're doing it. If Kendrick's bad, then a lot of people on the left are bad. A lot of black people are bad. Once you establish all of that, then we can get to the real nitty gritty of where you're going with this. Let me continue.
He took this angle knowing that people would bite onto it, knowing that people would resonate with it. And that's why a lot of people felt so personally attached.
So Kendrick took the angle knowing a lot of people would resonate. And so what was Drake's purpose for getting into the battle? Kendrick got into this because he, according to Matthew, he got into this because he took the angle knowing the country's divided and people are miserable. So he exploited that. So then why did Drake jump in it then? If Drake is so much a big ball of love, right? Just a squishy teddy bear, why did he get in it? First at that. As a matter of fact, he went first and he dissed the man family first. Matthew's not talking about that. When Kendrick responded, he said, keep the families out of it. What did this guy do? He started talking about the man's soon to be, his fiance, whatever you want to call her. And he starts talking about his kids. But Matthew wants to make this guy a martyr. They never put in that part. When you listen to a Drake fan complain about the battle, they never quote what Drake says. And when they do, if they do mention it, they'll be like, oh, he said some things. They will not get into this. Because they want to make it so heinous. They want to make that word such a big deal that no other word is bigger than that word. Well, gang, you can say a lot of mean shit about me too that could be very hurtful to me and my family. Right? Calling me a domestic abuser, a wife beater. Telling me my wife slept with my best friend. Oh, that shit is hurtful too. But What's the Dirt won't acknowledge that. He's going to go on to tell you how Glasses Malone is miserable and he been sitting around waiting for Dot to do this and Dot knew it. So Dot put the battery in everybody's back and everybody's calling him a Canadian. Let's finish. We're going to get there.
To the battle because it became identity politics. Like people literally stopped calling me culture vulture and the new insult for me was Canadian.
Stop right there. One could argue you are a culture vulture. And one could argue you are Canadian. And the way you're wearing both of those are offensive. You're offensive. So they are insults and they do match up for you and they do stick to you. Okay? You don't represent hip hop because all day you're writing about the same thing. You're trying to bring down Dot. And Dot is beloved in hip hop. Nas called him the North Star of hip hop. And your daily routine, every day you wake up, is to try to bring him down. So at some point, if you're not the culture, then you are a vulture. You're trying to pick at a carcass it's not dead, first of all. But you're trying to steal from it. And at this point, you're using Drake and Kendrick to line your pockets and Happy Dad. Okay? if you were really in this culture, you wouldn't even align with a company like that. It is what it is. It's just a fact. You wouldn't even be in bed with them. But they paying, so you staying. It is what it is. But let's not pretend like people are insulting you because the way you're representing yourself, you deserve to be insulted. I've met some really nice Canadians, but I ain't saying all of them are nice. And I'm looking at you, you're really not good either. You're not a good person. Because at the end of the day, when I'm watching this, you're being extremely deceptive in this video, as if one guy is worse than the other.
You're Canadian. That became an insult. And in the 2 years I've been on YouTube, I had never been insulted with the fact that I was Canadian. It's basically the miserable, bitter hater era. Like, you had guys like this, Glasses Malone, who was just like already miserable.
You don't know this man. You don't know if he's miserable. Just because he disses you, rightfully so, doesn't mean he was miserable. Just because he disses Drake, who deserves everything he gets, gang, let's just keep it a buck. Let's just be honest. Drake deserves all of this. He asked for it. He got it. He used Tupac's voice. He used Snoop's voice. He told him, come for me, say this, that, and the third, and you're going to follow through. He begged for this battle. And now, all of a sudden, everybody that cheered on Dot is miserable. They miserable. Imagine that.
Already a hater. Kendrick put a battery in the back of dudes like this to hate even more.
So imagine being a hater just because you don't like Drake. So you gotta be a hater. You gotta be a hater because you stand on business when it comes to this battle and in these streets, right? Glasses is one of the people that stood up for Doechii when people like you tried to tear her down. Just by proximity, just by being aligned with TDE and being aligned with Kendrick, you guys attacked that black woman. People on your side for no reason. Drummed up a whole lot of narratives. But Glasses is one of the people that stood up for her. And you let Aiden Ross call her some heinous things. And we had a field day with his ass to the point he had to come out and leave it alone. Right? But somehow, Glasses, who's standing up for the culture, doing his job as a man, now he's miserable and a hater, according to Matthew.
I don't see how people don't see it. What the battle did was empower a lot of guys like this who just felt like they were overlooked and were bitter about it. But another thing you could look at throughout history is that love always conquers hate.
Slow down, Matthew. What love? What love are we talking about? Are we talking about Drake, who talk about smashing biddies day and night? Slapping asses, booty shaking. This the love. What love we talking about? What love is on this album that we need to adhere to, Matthew? I'm confused. It seemed like Iceman is a whole bunch of bragging and showing what you got and doing this, that, and the third, and definitely getting at your enemies and getting revenge. Sound like a lot of spiteful shit on Iceman. So where is the love on there, my G? I'm not talking about smashing some chick in a Poconos. I'm talking about the love. What song? How many tracks? What's going on? Talk to me, Matthew, because you could, just like in the comments, they telling you it's 3 albums of Drake and you still doing hit pieces on Dot. It's 3 albums. You could be talking about them albums. But you're still doing hit pieces on Dot. You're trying to make this guy out to be some type of demon.
And that's what you're seeing with Iceman. The world is starting to restore to what it should have been. And
what's that? The world is starting to restore to what it should have been. What did it restore to? The album went down 50% in the first day. What are we talking about? Okay? Yeah, it's still number 1, but that's questionable when it ain't hardly no pure sales, but a whole lot of streams. Okay? We're going to get to that or not. Talk to me, Matthew, because I don't know what it's restoring. They only talking about one song off the whole 43. It's 3 albums, and they only talking about one song in Impossible 2. You got a bad spades hand, 2 in Impossible, my G. 43 cards, you got 2 in Impossible. So I don't know what it's restoring. Didn't save hip-hop like you thought. I don't think so. I think hip-hop is doing fine without the shit. I really don't hear nobody in hip-hop talking about the shit, and they bumping it. I really don't. So what did it restore, my G? But that's because you don't know. You're not a part of this.
Mark my words, in 15, 20 years from now, people will look back at this and look at the way that he approached the battle, and it'll be clear as day. Clear as day what he did. And
why was the way he approached the battle any worse than Drake? Do you realize that all Dot said in the Like That record, we're going to stay on this, he said, ain't no big 3, it's just big me. J. Cole decided to respond, got pressure from the internet and responded. Drake decided to respond twice. He put out push-ups, leaked it out. Once the people said it was good, he ended up cleaning it up, mixing it down, and releasing it under his own brand name, okay? Then they realized it was him. People thought it was AI. Then he came back with the damn Tupac record, right? With him, Tupac, and Snoop. Allegedly, he used their voice, AI, this, that, and the third, okay? Tailor-made. So we got 2 responses from him. His approach was to bait Kenny, force him into a corner, tell him, you're going to follow through this time. Nah. You're going to battle. Don't come back and don't be hitting me over the head with all this lyrical miracle shit. Remember all that? He was talking real greasy, Matthew. So I'm trying to figure out why his approach was okay, but Dot's wasn't. Dot came back with a record and said, this, that, and the third, but we're just going to be a friendly fade. Let's keep the family out of it. But he already knew that first of all, he got a mole in the camp. He already knew what the nigga's going to say. So he knew what he was going to say, but he said, don't say that. You still got time to delete the record. You still got time to change some words. Nope. This dude came out talking about his girl, talking about his kids, talking about everything else. Talking about his mom, talking about he got all this going on. Okay? So end of the day, he said, okay, let's bet. All right, now you push the button. Can't unpush it. Now let me push my button. They did the same thing, but there was a lot more buttons on Dot's side. He had more shit lined up. And Drake wasn't prepared. So by Drake losing, because he never was going to win, he's not lyrically adept enough to beat this guy in any scenario, in any dimension. He was never going to win. Just because you like his music don't mean he's a good rapper. He was never going to win. He can rap, but he can't beat K-Dot. He was never going to win. But somehow, some way, by K-Dot dismantling him and outsmarting him and just being a better rapper, better artist all around, gets more love in the culture that you guys been trying to destroy. Somehow, some way, now his approach was hateful. Make it make sense, Matthew.
And they'll look at dudes like this? Actually, no, they actually won't look at dudes like this. What am I saying?
So he's going to be facetious. He's talking about glasses. That's the end of the clip, thank God. But end of the day, we're seeing a guy who literally gets paid to spin things and spin narratives and promote basic nonsense. At the end of the day, he's promoting a right-wing seltzer, right? 2 kids, and he doesn't care. He has it happily in his bio, happily promotes this brand, which is, by all accounts, some MAGA shit. Let's just keep it a buck of what it is, okay? And you're going to go online and make a video saying that Kendrick is divisive, hateful, and spewing a lot of nonsense that's going to, at the end of the day, cause great harm to humanity and mankind. This is What's the Dirt wants us to believe. This is what he's doing while he sits up in Canada in a really nice area. I love Canada. It's beautiful, right? But he's going to come down from on high, point at us, and tell us, you guys are going to regret ever backing Kendrick. You're miserable, you're spiteful, you're hateful. And when the smoke clears, hip-hop is going to acknowledge that what he did was wrong for the culture. But they won't say the word culture. You can't say it because he's been trying to tear it down for a year. All right? So that's all I'm going to say about What's the Dirt. I hope I hit everything. I hope I got all the angles. But at the end of the day, you're wrong, Matthew. Once again, you're wrong. Once again, you're being petty, childish, and weird. And you're not, and we're not standing for it. And we're going to keep speaking out on it, right? Salute to Hip Hop Clips 36. He's on it every day, putting up a lot of, he does the research. He or she, right, does the research and keeps it 100, and they're coming at them like they come at me, but they're going to come at you because I told you Twitter is probably 80% Drake fans, 80% MAGA, so it is what it is. We're just in there doing our job. We take the hits and do what we got to do to combat the misinformation, and Matthew is 100% misinformation. And when they start blocking me, that means that you know that I'm doing something right. They probably blocked Hip Hop Clips by now too. Okay, end of the day, we gotta keep these stories straight. Right? Because yesterday I just heard somebody say Vince Staples is trying to do white music. When Vince Staples released an album, that's rock. And someone went in the comments and was like, why is he trying to do white music? They think rock and roll started with white people. That's how bad the misinformation has got. Rock and roll started, black people started rock and roll. Ain't no way around it. Ain't no two ways about it. Wasn't no 50-50. It was 100% black people music. By the time you let the narrative go and they get a control of it, then before you know it, some white kid on Twitter in Nebraska is saying, why is Vince Staples using white guy music? Okay, so we're not gonna let this happen again. We're not gonna let What's the Dirt rewrite the narrative and turn what we do over here into what he wanted to be, so Drake can be the king of it. That's it, man. That's all I got, man. Head on over to my guys, blackyeti.com. Black dash, gotta put a dash in there, yeti.com, okay? They ship all over the continental US, all right? End of the day, I got a podcast every Wednesday night with me, TJ, and Fliz. Tap into that. Lock in, all right? Also, we got a new Patreon account, Challz Brown. Lock into that. You could get in there for free. It's I post on there, but I post both. I post free stuff and I post stuff for subscribers. Just search Challz Brown on Patreon, this, that, and the third. Okay? And I go live every morning on the weekdays, Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. Get in the chat, get in there. We do some. I'm on episode. I'm about to be on episode 10, so that's gonna be 2 weeks straight, 8:30 in the morning Eastern time. We have a fun time, all right? And last but not least, Peanut Butter Tim's, okay? Touch in, rock in, lock in with Peanut Butter Tim's. That's on my video page on Challz Brown. Get in the comments, watch the video. Let me know what you think. That's off the What Project, all right? With me, TJ, and Flares. We barking on there on some hip hop shit, man. Okay? I'm out of here, man. I'm gonna catch you on that flip. Let me know what you think in the comments. Side. Peace.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine. Elevate your mind with high quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. Black-Yeti.com.
CLB.
Get my coat, get my sheepskin, grab my wallet, get my pocket knife, and get that hat right there. We out. Grab my pocket knife too. Let's go. When I first came to the city, niggas didn't believe me. I just wanted to join a team and throw assist pass easily. 6 man off the bench, alley-oop pass freely. Suit up for one game and hope a scout might see me. But nah, niggas is greedy, wasn't rocking with him. Unplugged the scoreboard, put a lock on the gym. Told me to power forward, point guard at the rim. And left me with no center and a ball full of phlegm. Not knowing that I'm a dog, a Rottweiler within. With the heart of a pit bull that don't bark for pretend. My bites cut deep, break the bone and the skin. With the level of hustlenomics you do not comprehend. So first I took a block down on the west side end. And then secured a spot with some goons and some kin. And then sent out some flyers, let the games begin. And in 6 months time, the city like that's him. Oh yeah, he the one that moved the hustle to the burbs. And yeah, he the one that knocked the hustlers off the curb. And yeah, he the one that set up shop without a word. And he the one that got it cracking. And all he did was rapping by the Hooters. I kept killers from being shooters. Put a mic in a thug's hand, now he loyal like Pats fans. Take a man off the streets past the needles and crack cans. Promise mama to keep him safe, then put some food in his face and he'll kill for you. But I don't need him for that. Click like, click share, tell them bitches we back. Share the whole location, tell them niggas where we at. Cause we out here, we ain't the cheese, we the trap.